It was 6 years ago already. Chase Elliott scored his first career win in the NASCAR Cup Series, and now I'm behind the wheel of his Sun Energy number 9 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet Camaro, trying to replicate his first win from the third starting position at Watkins Glen International here as we are underway with iRacing AI, actually, which puts on some absolutely fantastic racing when it comes to road courses. As we go down towards turn number 1, Denny Hamlin leads the way into this first corner. Now we do have another Chase Elliott AI in the field. You have myself, and then you have the Chase Elliott AI a little bit further back, Martin Truex Jr. as well in the 19, who was Elliott's biggest contender that day in 2018 when Elliott picked up his first win. I kind of like the idea of visiting, big races, big moments in the Cup Series, in the past, and kind of do one-off videos for that in the future. And this was one I decided to choose for this weekend here in Watkins Glen. Now, as we actually make a mistake into the bus stop, already going wide, Larson in the McDonald's machine in front of us. We come back on the track. Larson's teammate Kurt Busch goes through as I have Matt Benedetto in the 21 there just behind us as we come through the long, sweeping right-hand carousel here. So we started P3, we dropped down to P4, trying to get my bearings. Of course, not used to running a Generation 6 Cup car. It's been a while since I've driven one in anything, so going from the next gen to the Gen 6 is a massive difference everywhere you take it, but especially these road courses. Now the car, is designed to suck on road courses pretty well in a Gen 6 car versus the next gen where it's designed to be good on a road course in terms of just getting around the track. We would pass Kurt Busch into turn 1 and quickly set our sights back on Kyle Larson, so we're back up to P3, our biggest threats of Martin Truex Jr. A little ways down the order here as we're putting a lot of pressure on the back of Larson as we exit the carousel, but Denny Hamlin driving off in the distance. We do have stages here in this race as well. Stage 1 of this 25 lap race will end at the conclusion of lap 5 as we continue to hound on the back of the 42, starting already lap number 3. Truex not even in the top 7 right now as here we go up the inside of Larson, not leaving us a lot of room, but he does leave us enough to make it work. He actually runs himself wide on the exit of the corner. We take the position up into P2. What kind of pace do we have as we look to now run down that number 11 FedEx Toyota Camry of Denny Hamlin? Elliott had such a strong day to pick up his first win at Watkins Glen in 2018, but we're gonna have to go through Denny Hamlin to do it, and Martin Truex Jr. actually runs into some trouble here, and the 8th position goes wide in the bus stop, gets passed by the 20 of Eric Jones, and then he runs wide again going into the carousel, and the 48 of Jimmy Johnson is going to pounce on that opportunity. Up the inside goes the 48 and maybe even the 4 of Harvick. Truex continues to struggle. Another spot lost, 3 spots in a matter of about 15 seconds. The 19 quickly inserting himself as a non-factor in this race now as we continue to focus in on that number 11 of Hamlin, coming to 2 laps to go in this first and opening stage now, but Denny Hamlin setting one heck of a pace behind the wheel of that number 11 as we in that number 9 Sun Energy Chevrolet Camaro look to run him down here as we've set our fastest lap of this session, but immediately into turn 1 outbreak ourselves there, a little bit of a wheel hop as well, so we completely run wide and lose a very significant chunk of time, but fortunately still comfortably in front of Kyle Larson and Kurt Busch. Starting the final lap of the stage, Hamlin, a fastest lap of a 1:14.129. My fastest lap there on the bottom right, you can see a 1:14.312. So a couple tenths basically between myself and Hamlin in terms of fastest laps. At this point, there was no point in pushing. This is going to be a pit stop free race. We're not going to have to come into the pit lane, but Hamlin cruising right now to a stage win, but we're setting ourselves up well. We're learning and putting ourselves in a good position to try and replicate Elliott's first career win. And of course, we're going to have to go through that number 11, who really right now of the front runners seems to be the only one capable of putting up a competitive enough of a pace to go head-to-head with us. He might even just outpace us all race long. We are going to have to wait and see, but of course the tires are going to continue to wear. Things are going to develop here as Hamlin rounds this final turn down the front straightaway. Hamlin, not even a contest. He's going to come through to win stage number 1, and the caution will fly. It's P2 for us in the number 9 Sun Energy Camaro as we'll get ready for stage number 2, which will end at the conclusion of lap number 12. So So pace car racks the field back up. You got Chip Ganassi third and fourth. How about Wood Brothers, Matt DiBenedetto there in fifth. Elliott's AI a few spots behind him in P7. Martin Truex Jr. some work to do there in that 19. The runner-up finisher IRL now as we get ready to go for stage number 2. Now on the front row as Hamlin's going to get us pretty well sleeping. Now he actually checks up as we restart here on the run towards turn 1, and the cars behind me did not go at all in towards turn 1. So you can see a bunch of guys under attack now as Larson up my right rear quarter panel on the exit of turn number 1, but we're okay, we're clear already as we head towards the S's. Truex actually lost a bunch of ground on that restart, so he is certainly no longer a candidate to be up in the mix for this race here. Now as we continue on, Alex Bowman in that number 88 going backwards as we continue up through the long straightaway towards the bus stop. Larson trying to put some pressure on the back of us in his McDonald's 42, but we jump over top of the curbing, aggressive on the bus stop. I feel like this is our strongest point of the circuit, is right here in the bus stop chicane as we go for a bit of a slide there into the start of the carousel, and Hamlin's going to pounce on it. He has a grip, he drives away, opens up a gap by a few car lengths extra now as we head towards that penultimate left-handed corner, and Hamlin again, a great opening lap to start stage number 2. He's going to try and drive away once again as we continue to position ourselves in a really good spot. P2, it's nothing to hang our head down about, but you know, we still want to be up there leading this race. A bit of a slide there, tang slapper just about on the exit of that final turn, but Hamlin in control as we kick off lap 9 of 25, but we reel him in into turn 1, going a little bit deep into the corner. This car, of course, it's totally different than the next gen car. You can't really wheel hop a next gen car in iRacing, but you can certainly wheel hop a Generation 6 Cup car. And the way I used to drive this car at road courses, I used to wheel hop them like crazy. It was almost like I put wheel hopping into my road course craft and I somehow made it work. But now I've pretty well eliminated wheel hopping out of my road course expertise. You can see, though, we do reel in that number 11 of Hamlin. Larson about a second back at this point, but that number 11 is speedy now as we use up all of the asphalt there on the exit of that carousel, trying to get back onto the racing surface just before you hit that grass as we come through to the start now of lap 10. And we've set the fastest lap of the race. We're cooking into turn 1, however, nearly into the back of Hamlin, getting a little bit too aggressive, and all that time again is lost as the 11 is going to try and drive away now as we come through the SS. 7/10 of a second, just like that, 8/10 of a second to the number 11. So again, trying to settle back in and really just remove these mistakes, because that's what's allowing Hamlin to keep a comfortable gap on us now. 1.1 seconds as we come to the final couple of laps here in stage number 2 through the bus stop. Though this, like I said before, is kind of where we're gaining. Hamlin struggling through the bus stop a little bit, and I think that's something that's going to continue as this race goes on. So we are going to have an opportunity to be able to reel him in, especially in that third and final stage. I think is really now what we have to set our sights on, is stage 3 to put this 9 up front and into victory lane here. Now we come straight to the final lap of stage number 2, and we reel in Hamlin by a few more tenths of a second, 8/10 of a second between us through the final turn. We got 3 seconds to Larson, 4.2 to Chase Elliott's AI, but Hamlin down the front straightaway comes through to win stage 2. He sweeps the first 2 stages, but we're a lot closer at the end of stage 2 compared to where we were at the end of stage number 1. So clearly some improvements made there, some gains made, setting us up well for the start of stage 3, where again we will be P2. 2 cars pitted at the back of the grid. That's Suarez in the 41 for Stuart Haas, the 96 as well of Parker Kligerman. It's going to be 11 laps of racing here in stage 3. Hamlin stands between Elliott and the first win of his Cup Series career. Hamlin goes now. We struggle again to get going here. The cars behind me again don't go in my left lane, so we're gonna have no pressure there. We dive it deep alongside the number 11 Toyota Camry into turn 1. Hamlin though gets to run clear. Larson at our door as we exit turn 1. We clear him as well as we head down into the S's. Jimmy Johnson into the top 5 as well. Kurt Busch, and as well I believe that was a 10 of Eric Almirola I saw in the background now as we go wide on the very top of the hill right there. We keep it straight, we keep it collected, and now we try to set our sights again on that number 11 who's really really opened up a comfortable gap here as we get really close to that guardrail on the entrance there of the bus stop. By Hamlin, a bit of a wide exit allows me to get within another tenth or two gained on him now. So 7/10 of a second is the gap to Hamlin, and Chase Elliott has actually lost some ground. Truex, he's way back there as well. So it's just me and Denny Hamlin at this point. It's going to be a 1v1 simply showdown between myself and that number 11. Who's going to come out on top? Of course, we're going to have to run him down first, but I think if we can just keep this race mistake free from here for the final 10 laps that are about to come up, we can get to that number 11 of Denny Hamlin. So let's start to put in the consistency in that work. Here we are, reeling him in through the bus stop here with 10 laps to go, and just like that, we're within about half a second of Denny Hamlin here as we come through to the start finish line. Though 9 laps remain at this point, and the gap was 8/10 into turn number 1, getting through there really well. Actually, that's about as good as you can get through turn 1, and now we are really closing on this number 11, who continues to seem to struggle now as we go up through the S's. This seems to be a bit of a strong point for Hamlin. I'm definitely struggling a lot more, and we're going wide on the exit, close to the barrier right there on the right side. We're slipping and sliding all around the track surface right now, but through that bus stop chicane again, we continue to gain time. Look at Hamlin go a little bit wide right there. So as we enter the carousel, a few tenths of a second gained again, but now we go wide through the carousel. So this Generation 6 Cup car sometimes is a lot more complicated to stay consistent on a road course compared to the next gen current car that we see, of course, in the NASCAR Cup Series. But nonetheless, we were still making time, and we close in on this back of that number 11 of Denny Hamlin. He goes wide again. That second left-hander on the bus stop seems to throw him off every time, and now this is the closest we've been to him all race outside of under the pace laps during a caution. Hamlin has about 4 car lengths on us as we exit the carousel. Well under 10 laps to go at this point, 7 to be exact into turn number 1, and he continues to just maintain enough of a pace to just stay ahead and not really put himself under my, or put himself too vulnerable, I should say, to myself here now as we continue to just pretty well stalk the number 11 of Hamlin as we come to 6 laps to go, but he's continuously falling off. Our car is falling off. Hamlin seems to be falling off a little bit more. Maybe I'm managing the tires on this number 9 Sun Energy Chevrolet a little bit better than Hamlin. Through the final turn, coming to 6 to go, a wide exit. Here's maybe the first opportunity to pounce on Denny Hamlin. To the back of him within a car length as we cross the start finish. 6 laps to go into turn number 1. Hamlin's going to leave that inside open. I wasn't confident enough to send it up the inside as we really haven't been in position to make a move yet, so I didn't quite know where the limit was, so I decided to be a little bit more patient, and we would continue the rest of the lap behind this number 11. It's so fun driving these cars because you're slipping and sliding and throwing them into the corners, throwing them around the track, where the next gen is a lot more planted in, precise expertise based, where the Gen 6, yeah, you can just toss this car wherever you want, but nonetheless, 5 to go, and here we go. A run to the outside of the number 11 into turn number 1. Who's going to come out on top? Hamlin shuts the door right on our nose, saying absolutely not, but now we do the switchback up the inside into the S's. This is where I don't want to be side by side. It gets really awkward. If we need to, we will try side by side, but we still have time. We have patience now. Hamlin struggles. I nearly slammed the barrier and had to lift now, but through the bus stop again, right against the guardrail, and look how bad Hamlin gets through here, nearly into the back of the number 11. He's continuing to struggle. He's hanging on. He's not going to make life easy for us in this number 9 as we continue to just stalk this number 11. It's 4 laps of racing to go into turn number 1. Still plenty of time. Kyle Larson's loving this. We continue to fight with this number 11, who's really struggling out of turn 1 now, but Larson's continuing to gain some time in that number 42 Chip Ganassi McDonald Chevrolet Camaro now as we're using all of the racetrack and then some, even the grass, as we head down towards this penultimate corner now. It's going to be 3 laps of racing when we come back to the stripe. Not a lot of time left whatsoever now into this final turn. It's really go time when you get to 3 laps to go. Hamlin, a bit of a poor run on the exit of the final turn. We had a chance earlier to go up his inside into turn 1. We didn't really take it. Do we take it this time? We show the nose. Hamlin brakes. We get up the inside, right at his right rear quarter. Now to his wheel, nearly his door. Hamlin doesn't give us a lot of room, but he actually hurts himself on the exit. We continue wheel to wheel into the S's. What a battle with this number 11 of Denny Hamlin leaning on each other through the S's. Now up the elevation. Hamlin powers through, takes the position back now. To the point goes Hamlin as we follow him again into the bus stop, but we're right on the back of the 11 this time, the closest we've been. And now here we go to the left rear, to the outside of Hamlin. Can we make it work in the carousel? No, we cannot. Hamlin's already clear, so we're going to have to settle back in, and maybe we can go for a bit of a switchback. Get the run on the exit there. Hard on the gas, about half throttle, now full throttle as we get up through the gears into third, in towards fourth. We'll look up the inside into the penultimate corner. 2 laps to go. When we come back around this final right-hander here, Hamlin leaves the space now, wheel to wheel on the exit of the penultimate left-hander. Now into the final turn. It's wheel to wheel still. How long does this work? And there's the answer, not anymore. We slide on the exit of the final turn, nearly hitting the barrier. Hamlin opens up the gap again by a few car lengths. Elliott's first win is going to be a hard one to get as we go into turn 1. A shot to the back of the 11 now. It's time to get a little bit physical with this FedEx Toyota Camry with the final 2 laps underway. We'll look to his right rear in towards the S's again, but Hamlin again has the advantage. We follow him up the elevation, and here we go with a run though to the left side of Hamlin. Is he going to leave it open? It's close. We're barely there. He shuts the door at the last second, leaning on his back bumper now as we have a lap and a half to go here from Watkins Glen into the bus stop. We let Hamlin get the run in because we know we're going to get the run out right to the back of him, but he shoves, just kind of protects there and keeps me from being able to get him. But now a lunge up the inside, a bit of a tap again on the right rear of Hamlin. We are racing each other hard, leaning on each other now as we exit the carousel. Still having great racing between the two of us, but he's clear again. Kyle Larson's continuing to run us down as another shot to the back of 11, sending him a little bit wide into this final turn. And can we complete the pass around the outside? The answer is yes, it is now clear. Coming to the final lap here from Watkins Glen in this 2018 remake of Chase Elliott's first win. Hamlin showing up the inside. I go protective, but we missed the apex into turn 1. We outbrake ourselves and we slide off the track just like Elliott did in real life on the final lap of this race over Truex. Hamlin back up the inside. We'll go wheel to wheel into the S's now, but this time we don't back out. This is the lane Hamlin was able to pass us on in the S's. Can we do the same thing that he did? No, but we at least maintain side by side. Larson closing in the mirror. You can see him, that bright red Chevrolet on the way as Hamlin's going to stay on that right side into the bus stop. A really awkward spot for us to be in, side by side. Close quarters contact with the 11. Hamlin slides wide. Through goes Kyle Larson now, but they continue fighting as we slide ourselves into the carousel. A huge slide. We save it and we continue on, slipping and sliding all over the circuit. Hamlin maintains P2 over Kyle Larson. Does he have anything for us in this number 9? What a race this has been. And now it's just 2 corners remaining. Who's going to get back here first now? Easy into the penultimate turn, down into second gear. Get on that apex, hit the curbs, and we have nothing to worry about now. We have about a 3 car length gap on this number 11. We just got to not screw up. We miss the apex, but it gives Hamlin a chance. Not enough. Out of the final turn, we're successful. We replicate Chase Elliott's first win at 2018 Watkins Glen and an absolutely dramatic final handful of laps in a 1v1 duel against Denny Hamlin. That was absolutely awesome. Now, as we get to burn it down, will Chase Elliott pull off the win in 2024 at Watkins Glen? Let me know down below who you think it's going to be, or will it be Chase Elliott, yes or no? I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.